Podcast. I'm Carrie here with Stu. Say hey, Stu.
Hey.
All right, we are back this week, and we are going to South Carolina, Stu.
Are we now?
Yes. We apologize. We know we're always apologizing. What happened was last week update for the whole base camp Terlingua thing.
We are not murdered.
We are not murdered. We did go there last week, so that's why we were trying to get an episode out before we left, but it just didn't happen. We had the winter storm here. It was like the kids were all sick. I was sick. Anyways, it just didn't happen. And then when we got home, we were going to try to record Saturday, Sunday sometime. But Saturday when we got home, I was done. I couldn't function anymore. And then Sunday,
Children did not want to cooperate last night.
Well, Sunday we were supposed to record in the afternoon. However, right before we left, we had the leaking garbage disposal, so we couldn't use our kitchen sink until Stu changed out the garbage disposal. So he did that when the time we were supposed to record, because that was we had to get that done because the dishes were piling up.
I mean, we could have probably put a bucket down there and put it off and
that would have been
all kinds of other stuff.
But that would have set me off into another dimension, Stu. I couldn't handle that kind of chaos.
Yeah, because I can't change the disposal during the week while you're not here.
Yeah, because it was took him forever. Anyways, and so then we're like, okay, well, we'll record when the kids go to sleep because they got to be tired because we were at this Terlingua thing at Big Bend, all this stuff. Anyways, well, they would not go to sleep. So the baby had to come in there with us, and then she had to be rocked to sleep, and then she still got up later.
Then she still woke up.
She was having, but she also she just gave up her pacifiers because she was chewing holes in them. So while we were gone on our glamping thing in Terlingua, she chewed up her passy, the last one, and so it's just not safe for her to have them. So we had to throw it out. So she's having a hard time, I think, getting herself to sleep or comforting herself as she goes back to sleep because she's not allowed. We're done with the passies. It's just her life.
She woke up at 11 o'clock last night and continued on until about 12:30 this morning.
Yeah. So I was unaware of this. So I went to bed. Anyways. So we apologize. You know what, guys? One time we took off for 2 years. So if we miss a week here and there, just be thankful it's not for longer. Let's just say it.
And we did say, we'll see you next time.
Yep.
And then 2.5 years later, we did.
We did. We didn't just completely disappear. Anyway, so we will have a Shoot the Poo this Friday. We're going to recap our whole trip. But just to update, because I know there were some questions about the base camp Terlingua, because I did my whole rant and then I kind of left you guys hanging. They went back sketchy couple more times, and then finally they never can't. I think we had mentioned it that we were concerned because I never got a cancellation for that thing because we thought maybe they would just try to say we were no shows.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think they were expecting their automated system to send me an email with instructions and stuff on how to get there because it's all self-check-in. And so I had emailed them. I said, "Are you kidding me right now?" I said, "You canceled this on me." And they're like, "You never responded to that confirmation and to cancel. So yes, your reservation is still going." I said, "I have several emails of you saying you canceled on me. I actually never canceled the second time that they rebooked us in that cheaper pod or whatever dome." And so they canceled on me because I asked about the extra $600. I'm like, "Where's the $600?" So I sent her screenshots of them saying that they were going to cancel my reservation multiple times. And I said, "I'm done with this." I said, "I'm going to contact the state." Because that's all I could do at this point was to file a complaint.
Yeah, file a complaint with the Secretary of State.
Well, I didn't hear from them for about an hour because she was rapidly emailing back initially when she thought she was going to get me. And so she emails me back an hour later with a bunch of dates I could pick. Well, the only ones we could do was the one coming up here at the end of January. And so we had to delay going there one day, but we did go. Nobody tried to murder us. Nobody tried to bother us. So we may not. I do not recommend booking through them, though, because this process was sketchy. The dome, you'll see on reviews, it is true. The dome was scratched. so it's not as clear as like the pictures and stuff. I mean, it was a cool experience and everything like that, but
Yes.
if we were to go back, I would book a one of those casitas or something like that.
Yeah.
And I would book through a different one because apparently the owner of this base camp Terlingua
Had some legal
has
issues.
some legal issues involving
stuff.
I'm not going to say it because he's like sue happy. He like sued the girl, one of the girls that made a claim against him, and he lost though. But you can look it up. So I think their bookings have gone down in like the prices because I think that when we were there, we didn't really see anybody.
There was one couple that was at another bubble down the road.
Yeah.
There, but I didn't see any of the tents being used.
No. So, and
None
this
of
is
the
a popular
casitas.
time of the year because you have to go when it's cold because you can't go in the heat. Like the bubbles heat up, like the air conditioner. Even while we went, like during the day, like you had to be out of there by like 9 a.m. when the sun started coming in because the bubble would just start getting hot. And you're like, we got to get out of here. So,
Yes.
anyways, but we'll do a full recap on the shoot the poo. But we wanted to update everybody because some people have complained that they do miss our chit chat and updates. So
Where are these crazy people that want to hear us chit chat?
I know. So we might start doing just a little bit on this one, and then more of the in-depth stuff on shoot the poo. So
With Karen's too.
with Karen's too. So because on those we do we ramble like guys. Like I'm talking like it's like a 45-minute episode of us just a stream of consciousness coming out, and we can't do that on this podcast. People are gonna get upset. They're here to hear
We've seen it in the reviews.
Yes,
These
like
people
they
talk
shut
too
the
much.
fuck up. You know, they talk
to the
too
point.
much. So anyway, so that's the update. We used our credit. We will never use them again. If you want to go stay out there, there's other options.
Tons and
I would go
tons
and
tons.
choose a different company. And that's all I'm going to say so the guy doesn't I think he was already in enough trouble, so when I started emailing about the state, I feel like they were like, oh my God, we can't have another debacle.
Can't have another agency
Yes.
coming in here.
It was sketchy what they were doing, though. Like, that was totally sketchy. I didn't see any real damage with the bubble, and they said they couldn't get it fixed for weeks. And then all of a sudden, here, the bubble we were supposed to be in it was
Miraculously fine.
Yes, it was fine.
Yeah, if you would have got a part for it, maybe you could have got a clear top so we could have seen the stars.
But if you read some of the recent reviews from people, it's all the things they say are accurate. But it was nice. I mean, it was fun. The kids had a good time.
Kids loved it. It was great. Private. Whole 9 yards.
Yes, it was private because there is a difference between, as you could see from the other bubbles that were a little ways away from us, there's a difference between the deluxe and the regular bubbles. There's a reason you pay for deluxe. And I paid the extra money because of the 4 walls and to keep the kids contained.
The other ones were private too because there ain't nobody out there.
No, but it had an opening wall, Stu, where they could just run off the cliff. I know, but I can't have you having sarcasm whenever I'm in this. I was in
Ranting.
this entire like arch nemesis with this bubble Terralingua thing. So, anyways, but so if you're wondering what shoot the poo is, that's what we do. We try to do one once a week.
This but longer.
Yes, this but longer. Anyways, we're a little more free talking on there about our personal stuff just because it's not you have to pay to listen to it, and so we feel like there's some sort of block in case one of our family members or something came across the podcast.
Now they know they got to pay $3.
Yeah, so it's not like when I say pay, I mean it's $3 a month. It's like it's just basic support, just
you
like
pay $3 today, listen to them all, and then cancel.
Yeah, this is true. You get the whole back catalog.
Yeah.
So. But basically, if you join Patreon, you get the shoot the poo. We try to do them once a week. We also do, and then a lot of times, if we haven't had a lot going on, I will recap like a true crime documentary or something during those shoot the poos. You also get the episodes 24 hours early and ad free. So like this one, they'll get on Wednesday, and then 24 hours later, it goes everywhere else. Anyways, and then rate, review, subscribe, 5 stars only. Buy us a coffee. We really appreciate those. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I do true crime documentary recommendations almost daily. I've been having a rough time, guys. Okay, so
You act like you're having physical issues of some sort.
I am. So on the Patreon, we already told everybody months ago, but I'm about to have another baby. So I'm on the struggle bus right now. we're having a baby in like a month. Well, I'm just going to tell them because we're going to have to tell them why we probably not going to have an episode,
A week or here or there.
beginning in March. So I am currently pregnant with our fourth and final child.
What do you mean final?
And and so I am due next month in March, and I'm going to tell you I'm in a lot of pain right now. I'm having a really hard time, like, just my body's, I guess, preparing for labor, and it's just that last month I'm just on the struggle bus. So that's part of the reason why we haven't, like, when I said I was done Saturday, I was done Saturday.
She was.
I went and laid in bed.
Left me with the kids. Left the mess that she made.
Yes, I didn't care about anything.
Whatever mess that was in the house.
Yep.
I had to continue to unpack.
So yeah. So anyways, but I'm here right now for the moment. So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
This is our case out of South Carolina. Now, on February 26, 2014, around 2:30 in the afternoon in Elgin, South Carolina, 911 received a call about some kids that found a body on a deserted road. Stu.
That's crazy. Some kids finding
like
that.
Young kids, like 10 years old. It was behind a subdivision, but it's like, like the undeveloped part. So they were probably in the subdivision and then go back and see the unfinished part back there. All right, we are recording this during the day, so we had a slight interruption. So if it sounded like I drifted off and didn't know what I was saying, I can't go back. I can't.
Child walked in here.
We gotta go. But the child walked in. We gotta move forward. All right, so investigators, they head out to the scene, and they are horrified to find a young woman who had clearly been murdered and left out on this, this back road, this deserted area. Like I said, it wasn't too far from civilization, but it was just because they were as a subdivision nearby. But it's like, they're developing.
Well, we had some kids in the neighborhood. They were out by my mom's house out there. They're out there fishing in that, when you cross the bridge, and then you got to cross the other second little bridge.
Yeah, I'm aware. Nobody else is, though, but yes.
Yeah. Well, they found they were out there fishing. They found a dead prostitute in the water.
Stuart. Oh, my God. Anyways.
Yes. Speaking of kids finding bodies, that was, what, 30?
Was it part of a serial killer or what?
No, I think it was just, I don't remember. I'd have to look at the news stories.
Oh, that's crazy.
I mean, I was like 14 or 15 when it happened, I think.
All right, so it was clear by the position and state of the body that the young woman had been the victim of a sexual assault that ended in a murder. She was found lying face down, partially nude, covered in a towel. Now, she had bruising and scratch marks all over her as if she had been fighting back. Now, upon looking at the evidence around her, they knew she was a recent graduate from a local high school based on her class ring on her finger, putting her around 18 years of age. Now, around the body were various items from her purse that appeared to have just been dumped out. There were also clear footprints that they could pick up where the killer had stepped. Now, another odd piece of evidence found around the body was a ripped iPhone charging cord, like it had been pulled in half. And there was a lot of debris found around her, like someone had just kind of dumped a bunch of stuff out on top of her and just left, which is weird because most people you would just, I don't know.
Take the bag and look through
like
it later?
No, just like not leave a bunch of stuff that you could have possibly had.
Touched.
Yeah. Anyways, they also found a piece of chewed up gum near her, but they did not believe she was the one that like was chewing the gum based on where it was. They believed that whoever did this possibly was the person chewing that gum. Now, another big clue at the crime scene was these tire prints. Now, there was only one set, so they do believe that this was the vehicle that disposed of her. They don't believe like two vehicles drove out there or anything like that, because her vehicle wasn't found around the area. It was just these one set of tire tracks. Now, what was unique about the tire tracks is there were 4 different tires on that vehicle.
Been there, buddy.
Yeah.
You got to go to the used tire store. You're broke. You can't go down to Sam's, get a brand new set.
I mean, like, so this is like almost like a fingerprint here. If you got 4 random tires on your car, like this is like a big thing that they can go and if they can find the car, they can check it out.
As long as you don't change your tires before they catch you.
Yeah. As long as they don't change their tires.
That's what I just said.
Yeah. You're saying...
It said as long as they don't change their tires before they catch them.
Okay. Anyways. So, that's fine. That's what you said. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now, as they are looking through the contents on the ground, they they also do finally find a driver's license and are able to identify her as 18-year-old Briana Rabon.
As investigators continue to investigate this surrounding area and the medical examiner is looking at the body, they find that the attack was even more brutal than they originally thought. Brianna was bleeding from her mouth and her nose. They were able to collect evidence from underneath her fingernails, as well as finding semen on her back. The official cause of death was asphyxiation via strangulation. They believe that it was either a belt that was lying there, or most likely they thought it might be that broken iPhone charger that the person had pulled so hard, strangling her, that it broke in half. Well, investigators were going through the crime scene. While they were going through the crime scene, Brianna's family had been looking for her. They knew that she had not shown up for work, and they had not heard from her. And then they started hearing rumors around town that a body had been found.
Because this is a small town, Elgin, South Carolina.
Yeah, I can't even imagine finding out that way. Can you just the panic starts creeping in that you haven't heard from your daughter, and then they're like, "Yeah, we found a body out there." So they contact police themselves and discover that, their worst fears have come to fruition, that it is Brianna. Her family was in complete shock about how this could happen to her. They said that she was just your typical teenager. She worked at a restaurant, dreamed of being a teacher, and that she loved being around children, especially her two nephews. So for this to happen to her, it's just not something that you would want to think about or would think about on the...
Yeah, I know nobody likes to talk about activities that can put yourself at in situations and stuff like that. But if she wasn't hanging around bad people or anything like that, She was just your normal.
She wasn't walking in
typical
traffic.
Yeah, she wasn't.
You wouldn't expect her to get hit by a car.
No, she was
she's not walking
one
in the
to
middle
be
of the
like,
road.
oh yeah, she's always in and out of trouble. She was around drugs. She was around none of that. She didn't do any of that. Not partying, things like that. She just was. Not that any of those things, before everybody gets in a tizzy, not that any of those things would justify you being murdered. I'm just saying if you...
It raises the odds that something could happen.
That something could happen, unfortunately. So she just did not live a lifestyle where she would put herself in situations to be around dangerous people. And by people, we mean men.
Wait, what?
Yes. All right, so they still had not located Brianna's car, so they put a bolo out for that, and found it at a nearby Waffle House. Now, they had some hope that they had caught the killer on surveillance camera right there, because there was a surveillance camera at the Waffle House. However, they did find a girl that's similar to Brianna walking in with a guy, but it ended up being a dead end, and the camera never actually caught her going into the Waffle House or anything like that. So it seemed like she just parked her car, or someone parked her car at the Waffle House, and they never actually went inside. Because the camera wasn't pointing at her car. What happened was there was a girl that looked like her with a guy walked into the Waffle House, but then it wasn't her.
But her car was not parked in front of the camera.
Yeah, so that they couldn't see exactly where she went or what
If
what
it was
happened.
her that drove in.
Yeah, or somebody
anything.
else. Yeah. So the next break they got was finding her cell phone. It was an iPhone, and it was about 100 feet from the crime scene, because this was a wooded area from around. So whoever it was threw the phone. And so they had to, after looking all around, they finally found it. However, it was locked, and they couldn't access it, so they had to ship it off to Apple to see if they could get into it for them. But you know how Apple is.
Mm-hmm. They don't want to be breaking into phones.
Now, they begin to talk to friends and family to see if they can get a timeline of when the last time Brianna was seen. Now, they find out that she stopped off at Texas Roadhouse, which is where she worked at. She was able to gather her tip money around noon that day, and this was all confirmed via security footage. They see her walking in, she goes up front, gets her tip money, and then leaves. Because I'm guessing, Texas Road, I've been a waitress before, but everywhere I worked was a smaller establishment. I'm assuming they tip out at the end of the night, they collect all the tips and maybe tip split or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard of that, where the waitresses all split evenly their tips.
I don't like that.
Why?
Because I made really good tips because I was really attentive.
Because all the other waitresses were working hard?
No, because all of them sucked at their job. And then be like, I was older and hungover most of the time. Not looking cute or anything like that. I was just like this. I was in school full time for like engineering. I was tired. Everything at that looked like shit. I'd come in, I'd make so much more money than the rest of them. And then these cute little, like, beep bopping around, they're cute little, got their makeup all done. And I think they were always surprised that I made more than them. It's like, because at some point, somebody doesn't care if you're cute if you don't refill their drinks and get their order
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of important. So, anyway, so no, I would not want to do that because I made really good tips, but some people there did not because they weren't attentive to the tables. So, anyway, so she goes, she collects her money from the restaurant. She then headed over to her best friend's house to have lunch, and she stayed there a few hours. Now, I think it was the best friend's brother then showed up to help her install a car radio. You know, this is 2014, so it was one of those car radios with the actual, like, I think she had the CD player. Remember they always, like, lit up?
Yeah, you got to get the little faceplate detaches so that
So people can't
won't
steal
rob it.
Yes. So I think he sold her one of those, and so he was going over to help her install this radio. They spent a little while trying to figure out how to do that, but whenever he couldn't get it installed, she started to call around to see if anybody else around could help her, friends or anything like
Yeah,
that.
she wants her brand new radio she just bought and put in.
I remember whenever I got one of those installed in my car, it was like,
wow, awesome.
Yeah.
Did
And it
never
would
wanted to leave your car?
and it would do like the vault, like the sound thing would have like a fancy, like the bars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Investigators have to go through multiple people to find out when the last time Briana was heard from. This is due to the fact that Apple said that it would take months to recover her text messages if they could recover them at all.
I think they were just telling them that. They're like, we're not going to get... They didn't want to full on say, we're not going to go get... Remember there was that terrorist over there in California and they wouldn't get into their thing and they were like, no. And the whole country was like, seriously? And they're like, no.
No.
I understand what they're saying, though. It's like they can't...
Can't just be breaking into people's
breaking
shit.
into that stuff. It's like the Ancestry thing or like the 23s and me's and stuff. They're like, we can't... If we start letting law enforcement get into these systems,
go fishing around in there whenever they want.
We will lose our entire business. So I understand Apple's stance. It sucks for the people that when you're trying to solve one of these, but that's their stance.
Yeah, so Apple's, I guess they're either lying to them or they haven't gotten to the point where they're like,
they're probably
we're
just
not
like,
going to do it at this point.
Yeah, they're probably just like, just tell them it'll take a long time.
Yeah, maybe they'll go away.
Maybe they'll go away and figure it out themselves.
So police start doing it the old-fashioned way by doing police work. They do this by talking to Briana's friends and looking at when they were texting with her back and forth the last time. The key time that they want to look at is between 5:30 p.m. when she left her friend Savannah's and 7:44 p.m. was the last time they could find a text message from Briana. They did find 3 different people that Briana had spoken to that evening or met up with. However, all of their alibis did check out, and they just appeared to be people that she went to try and get help from to get this radio installed.
Yeah. So they continue to scour the town to see if they can come up with any other surveillance video that catches Briana and her vehicle. Well, they got lucky at around 7:30 p.m. at a gas station next to the Waffle House. They pick up Briana's vehicle and see her getting in another vehicle leaving. However, it's pretty far off in the distance because, again, the car was parked at the Waffle House and this is the gas station. So, I mean, even today, like, you still don't have great cameras. This was 2014. It's your basic surveillance camera. If you can imagine, it's blurry. They could tell that it was like a dark colored sedan is what they could tell, but they couldn't get any type of license plate or anything like that. And they also really couldn't tell who the person was driving the car. All they knew is that Briana got into that car. Anyways, they did have the text to her friends during that time that when she was in the car, because it was, remember, they had till 7:44 p.m. Well, this was around 7:30 that they picked up. So she's texting a friend while she's in the car, and she never once said, I'm scared, help me. Like, she had access to her phone while she's in this car. So she was clear to them that she knew the person. She was comfortable with them, because otherwise, if she had access to her phone and someone was making her uncomfortable or something, she would have been texting her friend saying,
I'm in this car with this weirdo.
Yeah,
I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, or someone like forced me into this car or something like that. So they did feel like it was someone that she knew. Now, after finding out this information about the dark-colored sedan, that Briana got into that night. They go back and talk to one of the friends whose house she was at last, trying to get the radio installed. So then, because before, whenever it was two brothers that she went to go see to help get the radio installed. So at the time, like, they had the alibi. Well, whenever they talked to this kid again, he adds that some little bit of extra information that's really, really important, that there was actually a third person there that night, and his name was Stephen Kelly. Now, Stephen was a 21-year-old who had been in and out of trouble. Now, Briana did know Stephen mainly. She knew his girlfriend, so she would have been comfortable around him. She would have met him in the same friend circles. She was at her friend's house with him, so that kind of checks out that this could possibly be the person that she was with. Now, the friend stated that when Briana left around 7:15 that night, that Stephen left shortly after, but he said he didn't know where they were going. So the police, they do show him the vehicle that Briana got into, and the friend was like, yeah, that kind of looks like Stephen's car. It's a dark-colored sedan. That's what he has.
Investigators drive by Stephen's home and see that he does have a dark blue Chevy Impala that looks like the car on the surveillance video. They were also able to find a home with security footage showing the Impala driving towards the crime scene. They felt very comfortable that Stephen was most likely the last person with Briana, but now they have to go and confront him and ask him about Briana's disappearance. They show up at his house, they start talking to him, asking him if he would mind coming down so they can talk to him about her disappearance and murder. While standing there looking at him, they did notice that he had quite a few scratch marks on his arms, as if he'd been in some sort of struggle or fight. They bring Stephen in to interview him, and he says that he was at the house where Briana had been, but he was not there at the same time as her. However, police have several witnesses stating that he had interacted with Briana there and tried to install her car radio, including the two friends that were there, plus the mom of the two friends.
Yes, this person is not
very bright.
We're not dealing with a sophisticated criminal. Based on, who drives the vehicle with the 4 tires into the crime scene? Like, this is not smart. This is 2014.
Well, fortunately for law enforcement and cold case unit, this guy was really stupid.
Yes, he was. I'm gonna just say this is a stupid criminal. Like, we get some conniving ones, we get some that get lucky, but then we also get some stupid ones, and this one is a stupid one.
Yes, he's trying to get himself caught. Because now he's caught in a lie, and he finally admits that he did leave at about the same time as Briana, and that he arrived at his home at about 8. They do confront him with the video from the gas station where they see Briana getting into his car. He tries to deny that she was in his car, so he quickly tried to change that story and say that he did pick up Briana, but only gave her a ride back to the friend's house.
Which makes no sense why she would drop her car off at the Waffle House, and he just picks her up and takes her back to the
two friends'
house. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's like, we're not going to catch that lie. Oh.
Yeah, he just keeps lying, and then they confront him with actual evidence, and then he's like, oh, actually, yeah, I forgot. I did pick her up. I just took her back to the house, though.
So now they got him in another lie that he took her back to the friend's house, and they did end up confronting him with the video surveillance of his car driving toward the crime scene. Saying that he had trapped himself pretty much in his own web of lies, Stephen finally requests an attorney.
Yep. So as Stephen was being interviewed, they had taken his car in to process it to see if there was any evidence of Briana being in the car or connecting him to the crime scene at all. This is when those 4 different tires and the tracks of the crime scene came back matching, and so this is again it's like a fingerprint. Like, you're not going to have 4 random tires that are in the same place.
Same order.
Yeah, it's like this is very unique to his vehicle. Now, they were also able to match his shoes to the shoe prints found at the crime scene. And then finally, that last straw was a DNA sample did connect him to the crime scene. So, they have tons of evidence against this guy.
If they let this son of a bitch play out so they didn't have to go to trial, I'm going to be upset.
They did. Anyway, so investigators believe what happened was that, so they have all this evidence. They are able to arrest Stephen and charge him with her murder and rape. Now, investigators believe what happened was she got in the car with him thinking he was just another friend. Like, he offered to help her with this radio or whatever, or something like that. And then so she went with him to get tools, like something. He used some story like, hey, I can help you with this or whatever. And she felt comfortable enough around him that she did willingly get in the car. However, they believe he probably made some sort of advances at her and she didn't feel the same way. And that's when he attacked her and then drove her out to this remote location and strangled her and raped her.
With all the evidence that piled up against old Stephen Kelly, he decided to plead guilty to the rape and murder of Briana. He was sentenced to 50 years in prison, and her family, as you might imagine, was extremely upset about the sentencing because they wanted him to get life without parole. But this 50-year sentence he got him would put him in jail until he was 72.
Yes, hopefully he dies before then.
Thankfully, Kara, for all involved, in February of 2022, Stephen was found dead in his cell. The only information that was found about this is that he was being treated for COVID and an autopsy would be performed.
That's all I could find.
However,
when Stu's acting like he's...
I couldn't find anything about the autopsy.
Okay, there was something sketchy going on because hopefully it was like prison justice.
Got the business end of a
because
penis.
the family was extremely upset that he did not get life in prison. Why the judge would only give him 50 years and not give him life in prison is beyond me. Anyways, he probably would have died in prison anyways, but he probably would have lived a lot longer. However, yeah, all the jail records said was prisoner dies. All they knew is he was being treated for COVID and they were going to do an autopsy. I searched high and low. I could not find any follow-up on this autopsy. So I doubt he died from COVID. This was, what year was it? 2022. Yeah, we were past, not saying past everybody. I'm sure someone out there had someone dying. We weren't in the...
Don't fuck up, Kara.
I know. We weren't in the 2020, 2021 time frame, where especially vulnerable populations were passing from COVID. This was 2022. I think the deaths had gone down quite a bit. Like 2022 COVID was more like a cold, I feel like, for most people. So he was young. So I feel like something happened. And they just were like, we'll do an autopsy. And then they were like...
COVID.
Yep. And then they just kind of let it be a COVID type death.
Well, yeah, a lot less paperwork. Then you got a prison murder. Then you got to investigate who murdered him. Then you got to bring that person to trial for murder.
Well, remember during COVID, people would die from other things, but if they had COVID. So I remember there was one, he died in a car crash, and they're like, it was a COVID-related death, and it was just because he had
they were getting
COVID.
Money. They were getting federal money for COVID deaths.
Yeah, there was a lot of
fraud
back in
going
hindsight. COVID was very sketchy. Not saying it wasn't a very dangerous thing for a lot of vulnerable populations and things like that, but there was a lot of fraud involved because there was a lot of government. Anytime there's government money, there is rampant fraud. So
yes, I need to get my hands on some of that government money myself.
We are thankful for COVID for taking out this guy, whether COVID did it or COVID was used as a cover for
prison justice.
So for her family that he got what was coming to him. So
maybe somebody put some money in somebody's commissary. And
maybe. We don't know that, though.
Got some extra ramen noodles that week.
Yep. Anyways, so that is our case out of South Carolina. Stu, do you have your Y'all Need Juice? You should have one because I sent you one this morning.
I was going to say, yeah, some lady sent me one this morning.
Yes. I heard one of those when I got in the car this morning. It was like it was on the radio station. I guess you drove last and you were listening to the radio.
Yes.
So it was one of those not shock jocks. That's
Morning Zoo Crew.
Yeah, something like that. And so they were doing who's our dumbest criminal of the week or whatever. And so this was one of the stories.
Yes. So I don't need to ask you if it's Florida or not Florida.
I don't remember where it was.
I'll just pause and let the listeners try and figure it out.
No, I don't know where it was because all I knew was by the time I picked, because you can't rewind on radio, obviously.
No.
Actually, you can in my car. You can rewind for 20 minutes. Yeah.
What? Really?
Yeah, you can. It records for 20 minutes. My car is old too. It's the Dean Mobile. It's the hell damaged vehicle, but she's trusty and reliable. Anyways, I didn't think about that, but all I picked up was the name Michael, Mexican restaurant, and Wells Fargo.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't actually know. I can't remember if it was Florida or not Florida. I'm gonna go with not Florida.
Man allegedly robs West Jordan Bank. Spends money on Mexican food. Not Florida, huh?
Where's West Jordan? I know it's not the country of Jordan.
Obviously not. Because I don't think we'd be getting a crime report about a Mexican
Or a
restaurant over
Wells
there.
Fargo or a Mexican
Yes.
restaurant. I don't know. Maybe if our listeners are in Jordan, maybe there's a random Mexican restaurant. I don't think so, though.
Next to a Wells Fargo.
Yes.
Fox 13, Salt Lake City, Utah.
Oh, it was Utah.
West Jordan, Utah. A man is facing criminal solicitation, aggravated robbery charges after police say... My phone just refreshed in the middle of reading the story. I hate that.
You want me to finish the story? Because I know the story.
No. After police say he robbed a West Jordan bank, then spent the stolen money on Mexican food and a tip. Michael Grant Robinson, 3 names, probably a serial killer in his off time. Age 35, was arrested on Monday. According to court documents, West Jordan police were called to a Wells Fargo bank at 3889 West Campus View Drive, if you know where that's at, on Monday. Police were told that around 1 p.m., a man later identified as Michael entered the bank and handed a note to the teller. The note allegedly said, "I got a weapon. I need $1,000. After handing the teller the note, Robinson opened his jacket to show a handle of a knife. At the time, the teller says they believe that the knife handle appeared to them to be a gun of some sort.
Well, I'm just a bank employee. I don't give a fuck about Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is one of those terrible banks too.
Yeah, they were opening accounts in
Them
people's
and
names.
Bank of America are really not. I'm not saying all the banks are probably a little sketchy, but Wells Fargo and Bank of America are two that I would never bank with ever again. They are predatory, like
Wells
sketchy.
Fargo and who?
Bank of America.
Oh, we have Bank of America.
We don't have a bank account. We have a credit card there. We don't have I would never do banking with them.
Who do you think your IRA counts through?
I don't know, Stu. Is that Bank of America?
Merrill Lynch, run by BOA.
Oh, well, then we need to move that. I hate Bank of America. You know why it is? Because when I was young, this is why I hate Bank of America. And
Can I finish my story before you tell us why you hate Bank of America?
Okay, fine.
The teller allegedly handed Robinson $140 in cash.
The teller was like, "We don't have $1,000. Here, take this."
Here's $140. It's all 20s. That's all I got. The teller then told Robinson that was all she had, and he left the bank. After leaving the bank, police say Robinson went to the Puerto Vallarta Mexican Grill and ordered a meal that totaled $19.93. After receiving the meal, police said Robinson gave the remainder of the money as a tip to the waiter who served him.
So he's just Robin Hood.
Yes, really. Police later detained Robinson as he matched the description of the suspect in the bank robbery. Investigators say he also matches surveillance video from the bank.
We just let him go. Come on. All he did was support a local business, okay?
Yes.
And help a waiter out.
Yes. So anyway, what did Bank of America do to you before we go?
Because I find it, okay, so like, of course, when I was young, I would get overdraft fees.
Mm-hmm.
But, and they found this, later on, they found this to be illegal. I don't think any of the banks can just continually add overdraft fees. They didn't have any of those stops back then, where you could say, just decline my card or after so many. So I got, like, it would sit there and do one every single time. Like a small fee would be like $3, and then you get a $35 fee.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time you realized it, because this was back whenever I was banking with, before like you had the app and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you just open it up on your computer, and all of a sudden you're like $300 in the hole, and it's all overdraft fees over like $2 and $3 things, which I think they found like the Congress or whoever, when they did all these like credit card things, they found that was like predatory.
Sure.
To sit there and keep charging people overdraft fees like that on like small amounts and not stop. So basically Bank of America would just keep going.
They'd be like, oh yeah, swipe it again, swipe it again.
Yes. Nowadays you can like just say decline my card or whatever, now they have that option and stuff like that. And I don't think they can just continually add overdraft fees like that. But when I was young, like that was like really, like I'm 19, 20 years old, that was like, I will never financially
I'm the Tiger King. I will never.
And so I think eventually, so I canceled my bank after I did that. I canceled. I did move on. So I've hated Bank of America ever since then. I feel like it was just like sketchy. And Wells
Because,
Fargo was doing the same thing.
well, they were all doing the same thing.
I
Happened
know,
to
but
me.
that's just who I
Happened
had
to me at the
experienced.
bank that I was with, because my account for some reason went down to zero one time, and I didn't know it, and I was out the next day working, just swiping my card for this, that, and the other, and
I know, but you were at a local bank. I'm pretty sure they probably forgave you a lot of those.
They did. They forgave
Bank of America,
all of
they were
them.
like, you get one per year. The rest of them, fuck you.
I went to see my personal banker at the bank. I said, hey, look, here is what happened.
Yes, you had that lady that worked at the bank because you had a local bank that would help you out if something like that happened. So
yeah, it was a whole ordeal.
We do not have those current issues. I'm much more responsible with money, or somebody's divorced from somebody with those issues. Why are you looking at me like that?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
You weren't being irresponsible with the money. Somebody else in your life was possibly being irresponsible with the money. So you and the lady at the bank.
We had to have a talk.
Yes. So I am no longer irresponsible with money. Well, I am irresponsible. But now I have grown-up money. So
you actually have extra money, so you can be irresponsible.
Yes. There's a buffer between my...
Yes.
And I would never, even like today, my bank card, if it ever got down, you need to decline my ass. So you're like, don't be. But now you get text alerts. Like, you're very aware of when your bank account's getting low.
Yeah, you can set a limit. You can be like, if my shit goes below $100, I need to know.
Yeah, so I have like text set up if it goes below a certain amount. If there's certain charges that are over a certain amount, it texts me immediately. So anyways, but.
I got emails for every transaction.
Of mine?
Yes. I know what you're up to.
You don't have access to my bank account.
You don't have access to my bank. Well, you do. All you got to do is get in my phone and you got access, I guess.
Well, all you got to do is get in my phone. You have access to it because I took the freaking face thing off my phone because it was broke because my phone's old. And we do. I just want to be clear, though. We do have our setup is he has his original bank account because we dated for a very long time before we got married. And I have my bank account, and then we have a joint bank account. If anybody's wondering, it's like, oh, well, they're just living separate lifestyles.
We kind of do sometimes.
Yes. So we still kept that where I have my bank account, he has his bank account, and then we have a joint bank account. Dave Ramsey would not be.
No, he would not.
He'd be like, we're headed for divorce.
Married, yeah, you're going to be divorced.
You're going to share a bedroom, but not a bank account?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's enough personal sharing for the day, Stu. Okay, so to recap.
Recap me.
Recap. We didn't get married, or we didn't get murdered at the base camp Terlingua. I wouldn't suggest going and booking through those people, though. 2, I'm pregnant. 3, we're sorry we missed last week. 4, we have a joint bank account. 5, Dave Ramsey would be disappointed in us.
6, I just saw today. It's crazy. Breaking news: Savannah Guthrie's mom has been kidnapped in Pima, Arizona.
Okay. That's not breaking news.
Well, it was breaking a couple hours ago.
Okay, well.
Not by the time this is being listened to, but.
Do you have any other additional information?
No, that's all they got is that she's missing. They believe it's a crime scene. They believe she was kidnapped. No ransom note. They don't know if anything's missing. If they are, they're not saying anything.
I bet Savannah Guthrie did this for attention. I'm kidding. I don't know anything about Savannah Guthrie or.
She's some morning host.
I know she is. I'm saying
like
I don't know if I like her or don't like her. She seems.
Well, what about her mom? Does that have any bearing on whether or not you think her mom should be kidnapped?
You know, Stu, there's only so much room for me to
empathy in this world.
We're not meant to know all this information. I don't know Savannah Guthrie. I don't know her mom.
Obviously not, because it's Guthrie, not Guthrie.
It's not that I don't feel sorry for Leigh, but do we know she was older? Did she not have Alzheimer's, or there could be something like that going on?
No, they said she was mentally with it. So
okay, well we'll keep.
They
you
said
updated.
there's a crime scene. The police said there's a crime scene.
Well, that's just crazy. They had to have known she was Savannah Guthrie's
mother,
and then why wouldn't there be a ransom? Like, I would think the only reason would be to be after the money. So that's weird. No, it's not that I don't care. It's
theories
just that
are abound. There was somebody that maybe did some work there.
But what are they at? They should be asking for something.
Well, she hadn't been gone long enough. They were probably like, "Hey, we're going to kidnap her and then do a ransom." And then 2 minutes after they kidnapped her,
They went to a
everything
Mexican restaurant at dinner.
everything went
Forgot.
sideways, and they're like, "Oh, geez, now what do we?"
Or maybe
gonna
they just like picked some random person, and then they were like, "It's like, oh shit, this is Savannah Guthrie's
do? Mom,
mom. This is
put
a
her
bad
ass
name."
out of the car.
Anyways. All right, it's not funny that she's missing. It's very sad, everything like that. I'm just saying that there's a lot to take in the world, and we were not meant to know all of these things every single day, every terrible thing that happens in the world.
No, that's too much.
Yeah, it's all just too much. You know, we're infiltrated with just the bad all the time.
I can't even imagine what these first responders are seeing that actually go and see all this shit go down.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Well, I guess don't forget patreon.com/blessedmesspodcast, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And I think that's it. Stu, do you have anything else?
I do not.
All right. Well, I guess we will see you next time. Bye, everyone. Say bye, Stu.
Bye, Stu.
Don't you know it's bad luck to be superstitious, but nothing else is working, and my head is really hurting, and I'm sick of all this work.